It often seems to me that our lives together in this world, our lives together, is totally antithetical to the idea of patience. Everything is a rush. We are constantly rushing to get somewhere, even if somewhere is nowhere. We rush about a bit like chickens with our heads cut off, to use that old phrase. We don't necessarily have to have a destination, but we want to be busy about being on our way to something, whatever that something may be. And so that rushing keeps us ever from developing a sense of what is patient. I was doing a little reading again this week. Stanley Hauerwas said that our rushing and lack of patience really comes from a fear of death. We're afraid of death, so we figure if we can keep ourselves busy enough, we can avoid the reality of it. We can avoid facing the truth that one day we will die. I want to pose to you the possibility that patience is something we can develop that allows us, rather than to borrow from tomorrow, it allows us to be present in the now. Because I want to say something, I want you to hear it. I've said it before, but I want you to hear it closely, and that is, you only have now. I'm not saying there isn't a future for you, but it's not yet. And you don't have that yet. You don't know what's happening even 5 seconds from now. You only have now. And I am convinced patience, this came to me this morning while I was sitting in my chair of all things. I was journaling about patience for the final run-up to the message, and it finally occurred to me that patience is really learning to be awake and present now, living now, in this moment. I can't do anything about the future, and there's not much I can do about my past. I can try to correct the mistakes I've made. I can apologize for the things I've done. But once they're done, I can't magically make them be undone. They still exist. They still are those broken pieces. And to reconcile is really to seek the forgiveness of another, for them to let go of what's between us, and for us to be able to move forward. But it'll never be quite the same with people. With God, perhaps there can be that absolute forgiveness and moving forward. But for us, and we live with us, that letting go is hard work. It's hard work, and it's the work of patience. It's the work of patience. So today I thought I would read to you from a passage that's often focused. The focus of this passage is often on worry. It's from the Sermon on the Mount. I'm looking together, today we're looking together in chapter 6 of Matthew. And picking up with verse 25. And so listen to these words, and for me they echo about patience. Maybe they'll echo about something else for you, but today I want this to be the backdrop for our conversation about what patience looks like. Therefore I say to you, don't worry about your life, that what you'll eat or what you'll drink, or about your body or what you'll wear. Isn't life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the sky. They don't sow seed or harvest grain or gather crops in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Aren't you worth much more than they are? Who among you, by worrying, can add a single moment to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? Notice how the lilies of the field grow. They don't wear themselves out with work, and they don't spin cloth. But I say to you that even Solomon in all of his splendor wasn't dressed like one of them. If God dresses grass in the field so beautifully, even though it's alive today and tomorrow it's thrown in the furnace, won't God do as much and more for you, you people of weak faith? Therefore, don't worry and say, what are we going to eat? What are we going to drink? What are we going to wear? Gentiles long for all these things. Your heavenly Father knows that you need them. Instead, desire first and foremost God's kingdom and God's righteousness, and all these things will be added as well. Stop worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. This is the gospel of our Lord for this morning. Praise be to God. Now, the word worrying appears a lot in there, and the word patience never once appears in that text. Not at all. So if you're looking for the word or we're listening closely, when is the word patience going to drop in there, James? I want to tell you, it didn't drop in there once. But if you read the text carefully, it's about learning to be now. It's about learning to be present in the moment that you're in and stop letting your life be driven about the worry of what will or will not happen on the future horizons. The truth is, worrying, and these are the key pieces of it, right in the middle of the text and at the tail end, Jesus says these words in the Sermon on the Mount. What does it add to your life to worry? What does it add to your life? You're either going to do something that will make things better right now, or you're not going to do something that are going to make things better now. You might do something that makes things worse now, but all you've got to do is now. Worrying that there won't be enough tomorrow, it might motivate you, I suppose, but in the end, you're either going to do something now or you're not going to do something now. And now is what you've got. And patience is learning to be present where you are now and realizing at the deepest level of yourself that what you do now lays the foundation for the future. You don't know what the future is. We don't know if I'm pretty sure the roof's not going to collapse on us right now, that an asteroid's not coming through the roof, a meteorite or something else. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, but I don't know that it's not going to happen. The percentage chance that it's going to happen, tiny, infinitesimally small. But I don't know. So the best I can do is be prepared in this moment for the things I can be prepared for by being here with you. I can't worry about next Sunday's sermon, which is about peace. I don't need to be worried about peace now. I've got to be worried about patience now. And I don't need to be worried about patience now. I need to practice patience now. And to practice patience is to be present with you. This is I was telling Linda this morning at breakfast, we were talking to each other, and I said to her, I think that I would call my technique of preaching method preaching. I was watching a program the other day about method actors, and how hard it was to work with, say, Al Pacino, or not that I ever did, or several of the other method actors, because once they Meryl Streep, as soon as they came on the stage, when they were being filmed, everything they did was in character. You couldn't have a conversation with them. You could have a conversation with the character they were playing, but they would not come out of character. That's what they were. So I said to her, I think that for me, preaching is method preaching. And by method preaching is I've spent the entire week looking at myself and my practice of patience, or lack thereof. The things about which I get impatient. The things that drive me crazy. Now, it drove me crazy to drive around in the car. Because in Northern Virginia, someone who was new to the area asked me about distances. And I said, we measure distances in Northern Virginia by time. It can be 2 miles, and today it might take you 10 minutes. And tomorrow it may take you 2 hours. Not to go 2 miles, James. Yes, it can. It can take 2 hours to go 2 miles. I hope that you don't ever run into those situations. But I remember an ice storm in Northern Virginia that came suddenly and with ill preparation on the part of the highways, the Transportation Administration. And so wherever you were is where you were. In fact, there were people who abandoned their cars on the highway and left them there for 11 hours because they were going to run out of gas. They couldn't move. There was so much ice on the road. So we measured in time, not in space. So the truth is, a couple of years ago when I was attending the Living School, one of my, probably my favorite teacher, Jim Finley, said to us that he lives in Los Angeles, another traffic hub in the world. And he lived in Santa Monica, but practiced in downtown. He was a spiritual director and therapist, trauma therapist. And so he said, what I did is I know I can't go any faster than the car in front of me or any slower. When you get on the 40, the 309, I don't know what they are. They're numbers, and people out there know what they are. But you get stuck on there. So he said, what I do is I treat my car like a little hermitage. I sit there, and I use that time to pray. I use that time to be present. I can get upset about the fact that I'm not going any faster. But does it make me go any faster? Not a lick. It just means I'm sitting stewing in my car. So what do? I figured this extra time has been given me here in this car. So I'm just going to practice being present. Turn off the radio, sit in silence, say the Lord's Prayer to myself perhaps, or just sit here counting my blessings. Maybe it's a perfect time for a gratitude practice where you start listing the things for which you're thankful for in this moment. But whatever it is, somebody's going fast, somebody's going slow. The only time that it has to be a problem for you is if they're coming towards you or if you make it a problem for you. I borrow and worry about things that don't belong to me all the time, that I can only do so much about. Concerned about the upcoming election. Periodically, when I let my mind run away with me, I'm deeply concerned about the upcoming election. I'm concerned about the future of the nation and the possibility of, ultimately fascism and every other kind of thing, losing the democracy itself. I'm concerned about all those things. What can I do about it? I can vote. You can vote. You can make the decision about what matters to you. That's what you can do. And then once you've done it, you got to wait for all the other friends out there in the United States to vote. Right now, it seems pretty evenly divided. I don't know what's going to happen. So if I keep worrying about it, all I've done is borrowed and gotten rid of the next several weeks of my life, fretting about something over which I have no control once I've voted. No control at all. What happens, happens. I have to deal with what happens when it does. But we don't. And patience is about being here now. Right now, I don't need to worry about that. Right now, I need to try to speak as honestly as I can about what I've learned about patience in my own life over the last week. What came to me while I was sitting in my chair. Share with you my own personal struggles with patience. Offer you some suggestions about how you can make patience more real in your life. So why don't I make a couple of those suggestions to start? First of all, take a moment during your day when you're stuck in traffic, when you're in between things, when your mind's rushing ahead and causing you to worry, to think about what you have to be thankful for right now. Right now. I'm thankful that you all are here. I'm thankful that John and Fidel are running the tech station this morning and that the stream is going out and that people are able to watch this wherever they are, whenever they are. I'm thankful for both of those things. I'm thankful that Linda helped me lead worship this morning, that John said, I've got this back here so Linda can co-lead worship with you. I'm thankful that I got to see my daughter last week because she flew in on her way to a wedding in Iceland, and that she flew back through and came in on Thursday. I'm thankful that I got to spend time with her, that we got her to the airport, she and her now fiance, to the airport on time yesterday afternoon for them to make it. They made it back safely to Atlanta. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the quiet of the morning that I had this morning as I sat in my chair. Right now, I am thankful for the faces that I can see. I'm thankful for the sunshine. I'm thankful that even though it's late October, the temperatures are relatively mild. I'd be thankful if they were cold too, I suppose, except that because I have no blood, I become reptilian. But we can be thankful for whatever is going on now, and that's a way to be present now. What do I have to be thankful for now? That there's lights, and they're coming down on me, and that I'm not looking directly at them so that they're causing blue lights in my eyes. That with my glasses, I can see well enough to read the Bible. It's upside down now. I can see well enough to read the Bible. For right now, I can be thankful for that. I can be thankful that on Friday, my father turned 96 and he's still around, and that he still offers me wisdom and insight. I can be thankful for those things. What do I have to be thankful for right now? And that teaches me a kind of patience. I don't have tomorrow to be thankful for right now, but do I need one more thing to be thankful for? If I have enough that I'm thankful for right now, that I have received right now, I can just be right now. So I can practice gratitude. I can slow myself down from the rush of the day. If you're very concerned about your football team later on, and there are a couple of them I'd be really concerned about, give your quarterback a super big contract and then they can't throw a pass to save your soul. Not talking about anyone in particular, but there's a couple of them in the NFL right now. Don't worry about it. You can't do a thing about whether they're going to throw any good passes today or not, whether they're even going to play. They could trip and fall down the stairs this afternoon before the game starts. They could get injured. All these things could happen. Do you see how easy it is to get sucked into the worry and concern about it? If you're really concerned about the game, just let it go. There's nothing you can do about it now. And if you haven't set your team for fantasy, oh well. If you lose, is it going to end your life? No. Friday, one of my favorite people in the world retired suddenly from basketball. Coach at UVA. It's where I went to school, the winningest coach in UVA history, arguably a Hall of Fame coach. And he just said, I'm a square peg in a round hole now. All the changes in college football, I can't coach that anymore. I'm just not the coach you need anymore. This was never my job. This was a job on loan, and I'm giving it back because I can't do it anymore. I lost that. I could be really sad. What does that mean for UVA's basketball? I don't know, and neither do you. And neither do all the pundits, and neither do the players or the coaches. They're going to do their best. That's all they've got. So rather than let that suck me in to worrying about it, into that vortex, I can just be present right now. Do you see how any thought can take you off into worrying or being regretful about the past or take you into a worry about the future? And Jesus says, what does it add to your life to worry except another moment of worry? We have enough of those. You don't need any more. Now, if I thought it was easy for you to set aside worrying, maybe there would be an elixir I could give out. I know it's hard. I'm concerned all the time about my family, about other friends in the world, the way the world's going, the way we treat each other. All those things create concerns for me. But patience says to me, what I have is right now. What can I do about where I am right now? And where I am right now is happen to be standing on this stage here at St. James. So the best I've got is I can talk to you about what I know about patience. That's what I've got. I can't fix world peace. I can't make you be patient. I can only share with you some practices and experiences. So we've talked about gratitude in the moment. We've talked about being present here now, bringing ourselves back to our bodies. You can practice being patient by delaying your own gratification. I know nobody wants to. I want my ice cream. I want it now. You don't notice anybody rushing in to hand me a bowl of ice cream. Would be a bad choice anyway. But we want what we want it now. But what if we put it off? And we got used to putting it off and being comfortable with the fact that we can only have it periodically. And we made that a choice that we could make. It doesn't make us any more in control of our lives than we were before. But what it does do is let us practice being okay right now with what I do have, not what I don't yet have, or what I haven't yet lost. Worrying doesn't add anything to our lives. Patience does. You know what it gives you back? Now. Patience gives you back this moment. And when it gives you back this moment, you can lay a foundation for the next moment. And then the next moment after that. We lay those moments, those foundations here and now. And patience is the practice of laying those moments here and now. So, I invite you to practice being where you are. Meditate. Learn to not be reactive. Do centering prayer. Catch your breath and pause before you enter the next moment. Do whatever it takes for you to be here in this moment the best you can be.